Day 23. This is Exodus 16 through 18. 16 is the manna story, where Moses, my battery's almost out, so hopefully this will last. The manna story, God says the manna will come down for the children complain. It's like, we have nothing to eat. And Moses gets mad. He's like, well, I don't think it says Moses got mad here, but God says, I'll send down manna from heaven, blah, 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 which actually in the footnotes in my New American Bible, it says that this might have been a natural occurrence. The white stuff, it was the size and shape of coriander seed. I don't see how this would be edible, but it was supposed to be, I guess, kind of like a biscuit. It's sweet. It says it, what was it like? It was kind of reminiscent of like a cracker or a biscuit. It might have been a cookie if it was, you're talking European language. But it was sweet like honey. I don't see how these little coriander, that would have to be a lot of gathering to gather that much for every day full of food. Because it says you're supposed to gather it in the morning. Once the sun came up, it would melt away. And there's these weird rules about how to gather it. You're only supposed to gather as much as you can eat in a day. You gather twice as much on the day before Sabbath, so you won't be gathering on Sabbath. And if you left it overnight in your house, it would turn wormy and stink. If you went out on the Sabbath day to collect, there'd be none. Just really weird stuff. And another thing that I noticed in the Bible, it says like on the Sabbath day, you're supposed to stay in your tent. Like that's all they did was stay in your house, I think is how they said it. But I'm assuming it was tents, being that they were nomadic. How boring is that, just staying in your tent? And like, how did you feed your livestock? You had to give them water and stuff. You're supposed to stay in your tent. It just doesn't make any sense. And like, why even have these stupid rules? Like, why did God make these stupid rules? Like, you got to gather in the morning, and you can't leave it in overnight. Why all that stuff? That's just dumb. So anyways, this story must have happened after the Ten Commandments thing, even though it's not written that way in the Bible, because in verse, let's see, chapter 16, verse 34, it states that an urn was placed next to the commandments. So unless there was a different set of commandments, you're talking about something different. This happened after the story where Moses goes up and gets like 10 commandments, whatever. Chapter 17, this is the water from the rock story. People start complaining. They go to Ephraim, I believe they're at now. And they're thirsty. And they're complaining that they're thirsty. Naturally. Well, both Moses and God get annoyed. They're thirsty. It's a desert. I think they have a right to complain. You don't have a right to get annoyed. And so anyways, this is where Moses touched the water, touched the rock with his staff, or struck the rock with his staff. What it's reading here was, at least in the New American Bible, is not what I remember this story being. But anyways, the rock turns into water. And chapter 17, verse 18, verse 8, this is a story that kind of really degrades native people. Here's the Israelites coming in and taking over their land, and the Amaleks start war with the Israelites. And of course the Amaleks lose, because Israel is God's chosen people, and they can go wherever they want. God can allow them to take over the land even though it's not theirs. This is genocide, because God lets them win. The Israelites win. And then there's the weird story about as long as Abraham or Moses's hands are up in the air, the Israelites are winning. If his hands go down, the Amaleks are winning. Amalekites, I think they call it. Amalekites are winning. Just some weird magic crap that goes on. All this magic crap, you know, touching the water and making it, touching the rock and making it water. You know, the manna coming from heaven and then turning to worms overnight. And it's just all this magic stuff. I don't know how Christians can say that there's not magic in the Bible, because this is all magic. Okay, chapter 18. This is where Moses sets up a government for Israel. Basically, chapter 18, 14 through 15, Moses is a cult. Moses is a cult leader. He's the one that makes all the decisions, and they have to go right to him, and he's the final ruler on everybody's problems. That's a cult. And overall, the chapter 18 is how the government is set up. He sets up other people to, under his father-in-law's advice, sets up smaller government to, and like the series of government to help Moses not be a cult. And that's it. That's it for today, and that's a good thing because my battery's about to die. This is January 23rd, 2021. I'll talk to you tomorrow.